Me and my dad kind of helped each other change our minds on a couple different things. And we talk about it in the podcast that's going to drop on Sunday, how both of us kind of changed our minds on some big things that we disagreed with earlier in the trial. Mine's going to come up here in a minute with Jackson as well. Here we go. Michelle, I'm about to answer this question.
For a, quote, wildly long time, Kelly Dever, another Boston cop, told you that. She also told law enforcement agents that she found it, quote, weird that Higgins could have access to that very sensitive evidence, the SUV. Folks, there is never a situation in which a witness, a potential suspect even, should be given access to the evidence in a case. But that's exactly what happened here. Higgins was given unfettered access to that SUV and its taillight nearly immediately, according to Kelly Dever's statement to law enforcement. And it was at that exact time, the exact moment that Higgins would be in that Sallyport, that the 42 minutes of the Sallyport video is just missing. It's just gone, vanished. Well, that's convenient.
That moment, by the way, the clip missing from the Sallyport video, adding that context was huge for me because, again, they didn't really do that with Dever on the stand.
I ask you to compare and contrast Officer Kelly Dever, her attitude, her demeanor. That's all for you to judge. Her attitude, her demeanor, her truthfulness, her motives from the witness stand. Compare and contrast that to Sergeant Nick Barrows. Who's more believable? Officer Barrows is unattached to any of the players in this grand play directed by Michael Proctor.
Another great Dever point, which a lot of you guys said, compare and contrast between her and Barrows. I still don't think the way that she came off, I think I cringed. I'll just tell you, I cringed a ton for the defense when they were had Dever on the stand. But the way Jackson is weaving her into this closing, he takes about 5 minutes using Dever in an hour and 15-minute closing. That's significant. And the way he gets his theme, he gets to compare and contrast, juxtaposition, explain the difference, and use her false memory she created as more Higgins problems, reasonable doubt, and cop manipulation. You said he was going to use it to show this police corruption. And in the timeline of events and the structure of the beginning, middle, end of his closing argument, he fit it in perfectly. I don't know that I'd say they needed Dever, but she was definitely a useful piece for them in building this puzzle. I didn't like how she presented on the stand, but I love how Jackson used her in closing because how she acted versus Barrows is bad. I'll stand corrected. They used her as a powerful piece of evidence in closing. Absolutely did.